So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Gabrielsen and I'm the tiny one.
I'm so stoked today.
Oh, this is an exciting day.
Yes.
I'm super excited. I'm shaking.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit stressed because I'm going to tell this guy something he didn't know. Well, I don't think he knew. Because today we have a special guest with us.
Yes, we do.
This guy, he is very special to me. I'm not going to cry. Try not to cry. It's very special to me. He is he's not. That's me. He's a lieutenant in the Norwegian army.
Mm-hmm. And he sat in a captain's position for a while.
Three years.
Yeah.
Yes. So, captain.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't want to say it.
He's a captain. He's very humble.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is an artist.
Uh-huh.
I have 2 of his painting on my wall at home.
Yep.
He is the co-founder of something that's called Bookis, which he has to correct me afterwards if it's wrong, but if I understand, it's a service where you can sell and buy used books from home.
That's
so to
cool.
pick it up and you can sell it, so it's good for the environment and good for your economy.
Yep.
He is, like I said, an artist as well. He is a street artist, painting some big walls in Oslo and around Norway.
And on a roof.
I've
seen it.
Yes, he has just had an exhibition in Oslo.
Yeah.
But for me, he is one of the really important guys that did one thing that made me end up here today.
Wow.
And without this guy, I would not have been here. I would not have been in the best place where I've ever been in my life without Lasse Brurok.
Nice.
Wow.
Hi,
Welcome,
Lasse.
Lasse.
Hey, thanks for having me. And what an intro. I feel like a royal.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
you are. You're gonna get to explain who you are. But I just have to say, you don't know this, I think, because I never told you. But I was headhunted back to the Norwegian army.
Yep.
To work in a military academy because of that guy. Wow. He shortened my 10-year plan with 4 years.
Wow.
He saw me have an instruction of having some exercise thing for some recruits. He was there. He remembered me. He told someone about me. So when they needed someone, they called me.
Wow.
That gave me one of the best jobs I ever had. And without that job, at that exact point, I would not be here today.
That's amazing.
So thank you.
That's power.
Well, thank you for delivering when I was having a look, because if it wasn't for you and your performance, we would never call you, right?
No, that was very good. Really
so you took the chance.
It's all about taking the opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So who are you, Lasse? Except for
Well, that's a big question, but I can try to be short and sweet. I'm 25 years plus of age. I'm from a place called Ranheim. That's basically in the middle of Norway, or no place, or Norway, or whatever. And I'm extroverted, outgoing person with a lot of energy. But I also have problems with being focused. So I get some kind of letters saying that I have some problems. And I did 3 years in kind of a painting school. And then I worked in the army for 8 years, where we met, Marit.
Yes.
And then I just quit, actually, in like I just decided and quit in like 1 hour and never looked back, and started as a street artist, painting murals. I've been painting all over the world. And as you said, I'm co-founder of Bookis, where I kind of do the operations, daily operations, and people and culture. And as a street artist, I'm really into maximize your time here on Earth. So I preach a lot about that, both in my art and to my wife and to kind of everybody I meet, because I think it's a lot of people wasting their potential, and one day you look back, I think you rather regret you tried than you didn't. So that's me.
Yeah, because what was the name of the exhibition?
Remember You Will Die, from the Memento Mori.
Excellent.
The Latin.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what was it that inspired that theme for you?
Well, it's been quite a journey for me, accepting a lot of things in life. And the day I kind of embraced that it's over one day, and I got a letter from some people. I don't gonna say where they were from, but they said, "Hey, you that are looking forward to die," and I'm like, "Well, that's not what I'm looking forward to."
That's kind of brutal. And just remember, he's not 80.
No.
Something if you're 80 and you get the letter, remember, you will die, and go, yeah, I need a testimonial. But when you're 25 plus, it's kind of harsh.
It's harsh.
Yeah, but it's my reflections every day. When I wake up, first day I thinking about is I'm gonna die one day, and I'm like smiling because what do I have to lose, right? And same when I go to bed, I'm like, one day I'm gonna die. So why do I even care about these kind of problems? Because they're not problems, right? I make them problems. So that was kind of the base, kind of the inspiration and the reason for this exhibition.
That's amazing. So this is the first time that Marit mentioned your name. It's kind of like a little bit of a spoiler. I knew how cool you were. Had been checking out, your Instagram and seeing some of your art. And I always love talking to people who kind of have both sides of their brain working, meaning that you're a whole person. You being able to not only function in the military, but work yourself to a position in an organization where you have the power to put your finger out and say, her.
Me.
and basically change a person's life. And on the other side of it, be free enough to be an artist. That means by definition that you have both sides of your brain. You have you're a total human being. You found both aspects of yourself, the aspect of responsibility, seeing other people's potential, working in a system, supporting routine, and at the same time being able to express yourself freely at a high level. Did you always know that you had that combination, or is it something that's come to you over time?
Well, that's a really good question, because it's kind of the journey is the reward, right? And when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, going to school, I could see that people around me, they learned stuff faster than me. But I fight it. I really tried, but first I felt like it's unfair, but at some kind of already as like 7 years old, I understood that, I don't learn things as fast as they do, but I have a lot of other things that they don't, right? Mm-hmm. So I try to maximize my, what we call good foot, or my best not fighting against my abilities, but playing with them, right? So I started hanging out with some really smart people in the class that weren't included, right? They helped me out with school, but I helped them be included as well, right? So I did see that if I understood that if I want to do some big things or have some impact in the world, I have to do this with other people, right? And I understood that at 7, right? And then going into the army, where you're really a big team, then it was like I was home. It was like we were running out. I have a lot of energy. I was quite fit, and it was like it was perfect. The army was made for me because the army was a big habit machine, and my brain love habits, right? Because I don't. It makes everything more easy for me. So I guess I am kind of a creative person, but I also understood that we have to work together to reach our goals and to have some impact. So I guess, I don't know, that's my answer.
But that was something that because you were so admired amongst my class. Well, remember we had this exercise. This was the year before my big moment, you know. But we had this exercise, and we were shooting sharp. Like, you can kill each other, like literally kill each other. And he was there, and he was supporting one of the teams. And I can remember after that exercise, we went home, and people like, you know, that Lasse, he's incredible. I'm like, first of all, who's Lasse? What do you mean? Like, no, he has jumped up, like he's at a rapid pace throughout the positions. He really understands something. And they said exactly what you're saying. Like he told us that he understood quickly that he needed to be important, and to be important, you need to see what the person that's above you need, and you try to serve their need, as well as the people underneath you.
Yeah.
So you become essential for that square.
Yeah, basically.
You're holding two ends.
Yeah.
And if you're important in the army, they really likes to push you, so you kind of really can get traction in it.
Yeah.
And people were admiring you after that. So I remember you then you came to see me in the recruit school, and I didn't know you were coming that day. I was so nervous. I was so nervous, but it went really well. We had an interval that day. I remember it. It was dark. It was winter, and we had an interval, and we were running on snow.
Well, interval, like an interval training?
No, you were running. Yeah, you had like
two
times 8 or 4 times 4, something like that.
Yeah, like seconds or minutes?
Minutes.
Okay.
No, like good old interval.
The people who weren't there.
Sorry, I said in my head.
Yeah.
But
endurance.
Endurance, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Because so you were that quality you brought with you, and people saw that.
Yeah.
And because I remember these sentences, because again, you kind of are one of those people that have a gold star in my journey.
Well, that's funny. You remember it so clear. I remember that day as well. But it's everything is a system, right? And do you want to be just a part of the system, or do you want to take kind of control of the system, right? And I guess that's what I meant that day, was that if you really want to sit in the driver's seat, you can. But if you want to sit in the back as well, you can easily do that too. But I know what I'm going to choose 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
I want to sit in the driver's seat and be part of the system, taking control, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you improved it all the time. Because that was also something I constantly heard. It was not that we just in the system and taking control, because a lot of people would do that. But you also improved it. You made it better.
Leveled it up.
You leveled it up, which made the people around you also level up. You didn't kind of hold it and kind of, now I'm in charge and this is me and no one's gonna touch this. It wasn't that ego thing. Like you said, you saw there was an exchange. like with the kids in school. Well, I can make you feel included, and you can help me with school. That's a good exchange. You win, I win. Good. Next one.
Exactly.
And
It's a win-win, right? And
Yeah.
that's what you always seek out. It's win-win. That's the best outcomes.
And that's one of the things that I kind of put in words when somebody described Marit and how strong she is and how forward moving she is. And I said, yeah, but you're missing one factor, and that is that she's constantly filling up the box. So she fills up her box, and then the box opens so she can go to the next level. And she fills up the box, and then she pops up to the next level. And she may have learned that from you. I don't know,
I
but
did.
that sounds...
Well, I have
sounds,
it. I
sounds like
telling
it.
you, when I
Yeah.
tell my journey to here, you have such a big impact. It's so insane.
Yeah.
Because those sentences,
Wow.
I have, of course, made them my own, like I should. But but that sentence of being needed
Yeah.
and seeing others not just underneath you as a leader, but seeing what's needed from above as well as below. What do my leader need, and what do I need, and what do them underneath me need to serve everybody and then protect myself at the same time is extremely important. And I got that from that sentence that you gave. And it's been such a thing for me to drive with.
Yeah.
And I worked in Trondheim at Grilstad, actually.
Yeah.
And
What's that?
it was a training center.
Okay.
I started as a personal trainer, and basically it was a new center, and I took what he said, and they were redoing everything. So after school, I, on my own initiative, went down there to see if I could help. And it was always something to do because you're putting up a new gym, so it's always something to do. And then within a month, I was offered. I did this every day. And within a month, I was offered a head position there. I was gonna be a personal trainer. I was that as well because like working, but because of that mindset, because of the not going, I'm a personal trainer and I'm gonna do me, but like, okay, what do people need?
Yeah,
How can I improve my position with helping others?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you never know how far your word reach.
That's true. That's right.
And what impact I have.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people like I always regret trying than not trying, right? And I know it sounds like super cliche and obvious, but it's not obvious, right? And one of my favorite quotes that I don't remember perfectly, but Mark Twain said something like, I had so many problems, which most of them never happened. Yeah. And that's what I've learned as well, is that I don't, it's like, I'm really into the Stoic philosophy, and it's like, what's in your control, what's out of your control.
Yes.
That's, I separate everything in my life 100%. Is it in my control, inside my control, or outside my control? And that's a yes no question, right? And if something is outside of my control, I don't use any energy on it. Like I just take it and like, okay, outside my control, let's move forward. And I guess that's the Mark Twain quote is kind of spot on there, because a lot of concerns is on things that's outside of your control, and that's waste of time and energy for me. So yeah,
absolutely. It's like Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest, most efficient Roman emperors. He was amazing, and he was a Stoic and talked a lot about that. So that leadership ability very much is supported by that thinking. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done a lot of... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead.
So one of my favorite books is actually Marcus Aurelius' book Meditation, which he wrote his own reflections. He wrote. I write my reflections in the morning, but he did write them in the night. But think about this. I think there's maybe never been someone with more power than the Emperor Rome, right?
Yeah.
So if the most powerful person ever has time to sit down every night, write your reflection, there's no excuse, right?
And there were
There's no excuse.
and there were no time-saving devices there, my friend, right?
Exactly. You
No
had to
copy
travel for
paste.
months to exactly.
Yeah.
So this a lot of the Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, been really a big inspiration for me. His the whole Stoic philosophy. I think it's really interesting.
I have a interesting question, and feel free to not answer it if you don't want to. But I often see that people who are able to achieve things on different levels and also in different arenas often have had challenges. And I was wondering, have you identified what your most terrifying moment was in your life?
Well, I have two episodes that's kind of, I didn't know it then, but like I think about it often, but as a kind of motivational thing. And the first is I lost my best friend Stine. She died when I was 18. That was like I had had a quite normal life, and suddenly at like 18, your best friend is ripped away. It was like the shock was so big, and I really struggled. And I had a teacher saying, "Get together, like get your act together." And I like, that's your advice 1 week after I lose my best friend.
Wow,
I'm
thank
like,
you.
wow, yeah, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's insightful.
so that was yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thanks.
And so that was that had a big impact, but also in 2007, this is actually kind of crazy because Stine died 10th of October in 2005 or 4, and 10th of and we were planning a surprise party for my girlfriend at that time at 19th of October. Like Stine, the one that died, and me were planning a surprise party at 19th of October. But what ended up with was the funeral was at 19th of October. So it was like too much, right?
Wow.
But what's crazy is that in 2007, I had to operate my brain at 10th of October.
No.
So it's just like, yeah.
Wow.
So
Shit.
that made me, I was quite, it was quite bad. And I was in and out of the hospital after the surgery. And, but yeah, it ended up, with, I guess this was October 2007, and like around March, April in 2008, there I started to feel better. It was like a struggle. I was really bad actually. And what happened was that I wanted to go into the army, right? Because I had been to the military for 1 year, but that was in the airborne. And I wanted to go into the army, and then I applied to get into to take leadership education, and they rejected it because I had this operation of my surgery of my brain. So they said, "Just sorry, we can't take the risk." But I didn't give up, because that's how life is, right? So obstacle is the way. So meaning I have to find another way in. But my friends were like, you're never gonna get in. It's like they say it, your health profile is scored 2, and yeah, you're out. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's try. I have a couple of months. Let's see what I can do. And then I found something in the intelligence where they had their slogan was no respect for distance. These guys were walking with 40, 50 kilograms package, and they just walked. They were machines. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. And at I don't know how I made it, but they said, okay, if you can complete this selection for 3 weeks, I guess your brain is okay.
Yeah, right.
So I like,
that's quite a
yeah.
test.
Wow.
That's quite a test.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went, and there was so many hardcore people. But what happened was that we were walking, like what we did. We walked and walked and walked. Like you won't believe how far we walked in around. And I managed to hurt my foot, so I had to give up, and I was like really close to get in,
Yeah.
but I have to give up. And that was like, okay, I have no plan B. But this was up in Satemon, up quite far up north. And there was this selection for this leadership education I really wanted to go to, starting in like 2 days after I had hurt my foot. So I managed to rebook my flight, not going home to Trondheim, but going to this place for this selection. And
That's funny.
and on the plane, I was I was sitting talking with a guy who it seems had quite much power when it comes to letting people in. So we got kind of friends. I don't know, maybe not friends, but we connected quite well. And when I arrived to the office, they were like, "Who are you? Why are you here?" And I like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And they're like, "Okay, are you sure your foot is big?" I was walking around with this krykka.
Yeah,
What's that?
Crutches.
Yeah. So they were like, what are you doing? And I said to them, okay, so I'm going to go in the line now, stand up in line. And I'm expecting you guys to add me in the system. So when it's my turn, I'm in the system, because you were standing in a big line. And they were just laughing. And it was my turn, and people were saying, "What are you doing here?" Right? And I like, "Damn, what are you doing here? I'm ready." And it was my turn, and they're like, "Okay, what's your name?" Lasse Brurok. Lasse Brurok. Well, we can find you. It must be something wrong here. And I was walking straight to the office again and say, "I'm going in. Give me 1 week. I'm like, if I can't handle it, I'm out." And they did. And I handled it, and I actually managed to get in after 2-3 weeks of selection there. And never give up.
when your why is big enough, then the hows fix themselves, and you just were not going to give up. That's so beautiful, man. That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's determination.
That's determination right there.
Oh, that's fun.
It is. And it also kind of shows me, because like you were saying, the obstacle is the way, meaning that you can only understand what you're capable of if you get resistance, and you're put in a position that you have to exert yourself and go above and beyond. And once you've done that for yourself, you can see potential in other people too. So that kind of, in a way, shows me that, like, you can recognize that in other people. And that's exactly the way she is as well. There's not a barrier. It's just like, okay, they may slow us down, but they're not going to stop us. You may be on crutches, but you're still going to get in the program.
You just change program.
And
you just change program.
Yeah.
No problem.
That's it. Just change the program.
Still going in.
I'm still going in. That's it.
Yeah. And why did they choose me? What were kind of the criteria they were looking for? They were looking for leader. So I just had to show I could lead.
That's
Right?
it. That's it.
That's so
And that's
true.
what I did.
Yeah.
And
And what kind of soldiers do you want? Do you want people who want something so bad that they'll take away their free vacation to go home and hang out with their buddies, to go to the next program, to get their way in and stand on crutches and then get denied and then go back and say, yo,
Give me my spot.
give me my spot, take the chance on me, I'm worth it. That's the kind of people that you want in the leadership, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, we need more of those.
We need way more of those in society. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
could you tell me a little bit about your business, about taking old books, and like how did you figure out it's such a cool idea?
Yeah, it's really basic actually, because I guess a lot of people are thinking when we say we are into used physical books, they're like, okay.
Can you say that?
what's
Repeat that
that?
one more time. You're into.
Used physical
Physical
books. Yeah.
Well, you get my
meters and
attention.
meters.
It works.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
very curious.
I have meters of books at my house. Like,
That used physical.
oh, they're physical and they're used.
Okay.
Yeah. So I understand you. I have a great love for this.
Yeah, and most people actually prefer using physical books, but we, as I think for most entrepreneurs, which has a why, there's you start with experience a problem yourself, right? And you're like, what is going on here? Is it like for real? And you start looking for solutions, and there isn't any. And you're like, what? It has to be some solution. And yeah, you have Amazon in the States, but it's kind of, Amazon isn't what it used to be, and Amazon isn't kind of a sustainable when you look on the environment, right? Because we are kind of focusing on the environment there. And I guess as a lot of other founders, you start with solving a problem for yourself, and then you find out it's a lot of people having this problem, right?
Yes.
And that's what we experienced. And my co-founder, we're actually studying in Seattle. We met in the army, by the way. So after like 1 month, we knew more about each other than our family, right?
Yeah.
It's like you get to know each other so well. And we were so opposite. Like we are so opposite on everything except values and mindset. Yeah. There we are like, right? We are one person. And my experience in life was, okay, find people that are better than you at stuff, or not better, but are great on stuff you suck on, and you can be great at things they don't good at, right?
Yeah.
And we were like the perfect combo. And we founded this company in 2000. We started it or launched it in 2018 January, but we are still best friends, right?
Yeah.
So we I think that's maybe more impressive that than having a company. But what Bookis is we experienced that it was super inconvenient to sell used books, right? And if the sellers not there with the supply, you're not going to have a market, right? Because the buyers ain't going to find their books. So we understood we had to start in that end, right? It's a chicken and egg problem with marketplaces, right? It's supply and demand, but we really had to solve that problem. And today Bookis is on the app, mobile app, and web, where we easily can list a book. You just scan the barcode on the book, and then you add it for sale. Just add condition and price.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sell the book, or to look at the buyer, we are a product oriented marketplace. So it's not like Craigslist or Finn or whatever, where we have a lot of ads. It's one book, right? And you collect all the sellers under this book. So super easy to
That's cool.
to navigate. And
Do they
when
set,
you sell a
do,
book,
do they set the price or do you set the price?
they set the price.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the market kind of decides. And when you sell a book, we have integrated shipping. We was the first in the world, as far as we know, especially on the C2C, consumer to consumer. But what happening is that you just wrap in the book, write a reference code, and you put it on your doormat or in your mailbox, and that's it. You're finished as a seller, and then the people that collect or deliver newspaper collect the book and delivers it to the buyer. So
That's cool.
yeah, super
Yeah, it's
convenient.
super nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to even leave your house.
That's
Just
amazing.
saying. It's
Yeah,
very
that's
convenient.
sad, but it's true.
But how often do we stop doing something because you have to take an extra turn or walk an extra 500 meters? Like it's not a big deal. It's just inconvenient.
Or you have to figure something out. Like, I have to figure it out. I'll do it later.
I do it
and
later.
never happens.
But now
Yeah.
you just put it on your doorstep.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
You can do that.
That's smart.
Like really, how lazy are we? We can put it on our doorstep.
Interesting. So let me, if I get this straight, because this sounds like the Lasse you told me about. So let me just get it straight. So
It looks like him at least.
so you
Yeah.
you have a crystallized version of a genius's life, an old book, or a masterly told story that people have bought and loved and now want to give back to the world. That's a book. So in order to help people experience genius and great stories, you guys solve a direct shipping problem so that people can just write a number and just put it outside and it just goes bam, right through the mail, right into in the next person's house.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
And if you think about it,
wow.
If you think about it, it's also smart for us because you have this book you read over and over again, but after 50 times you're kind of done with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy more bookshelves.
That's
you
it.
take one out and
that's an issue.
And then you buy a
right?
new one from Bookis.
Yeah.
To get on your doorstep.
Because you can be a book lover and not necessarily have to be the book collector, right? Because
exactly.
Modern architecture, like we built our house and we have no storage. We have no storage. And we were lucky enough to have a library, so we have meters of books, but I basically have used up all of my meters. I don't have room for more books, and I want to buy more books. I love books. Like when we went to Las Vegas, where Marit won the bronze in the world championship in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, one of the things we did, of course, is go, right? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So insane. It is pretty cool.
Yeah. One of the things we did is, of course, we go to a what?
Bookstore.
A bookstore, man. And we go in there and just smell the books and have the books. And I just know I don't have room for a single book in it's like meters and meters of books. And now I have a solution.
Yeah, and you can share the love for the books.
Yeah, that's it.
And I like library books because they're used. I like them. I like them being used. There's something with used books that they have more life in them than a new one.
Yeah.
And now we can share that love. And I will add the Bookis and where you find it in the description of the podcast, cool. So that people can go in there and check it out.
That's cool because for us it's about sharing of stories and knowledge, because I think someone said if you want a new idea, read an old book, right?
Yeah.
It's so much. It's actually a problem. It's so many good books, but a lot of people now, or most people, are reading for their kids, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at how students are performing, and you compare 100% digital or physical books, they perform better with physical books, and they actually prefer it as well, right? So it's maybe a mix, but when it comes to as you say, a book lover, just think it's expensive for new books now. It's like
Oh yeah,
450 Norwegian
the
kroners.
reason why I
It's
Yeah, like $50,
yeah,
$40.
it is.
$40. Yeah,
The
it's
reason why I
crazy.
started really going to the library, I was
Yeah.
reading too fast. Not that quick, but
She's
I was
pretty quick, though.
Pretty quick. And I was reading, like I was using, at one point I started using $100 a month on books. I'm like, that's too much. I can't do that. My economy is not sustainable for that.
On top of working 14
Yeah, but
hours
you
a day.
you can't do that. It's
Jeez.
too much.
Mm.
But if you can
Yeah.
get it for a discounted price, and also when you talked about kids, if you have kids, I don't. But if you have, I would assume those books go pretty fast.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of buying new
They
books
do.
for your kids all the time, you can actually exchange them. In a way, it's a fee, but if you sell and buy one, I would assume that you can sell one for 100 or 10 bucks. I mean, and then you can do that, so you don't kind of use all that money on
Yeah,
new books,
absolutely.
and it's sustainable, and you get new stories to tell instead of Papa Pig for the 50th time.
Yeah.
Or what
Yeah, because you need to make things go. That's why I guess like you have to make it circulate, right? It can't stop. And if you know, it's like a car. When you buy a new car, or if you buy a new car, you know ish how much you're gonna get in the secondhand market, right? So if a car costs $100,000 and you know you're gonna sell it for 770, it's like, okay, it costs you 30. But if you think about the book as well, it's no problem if it costs $40 if you know you're gonna sell it for 30 or 35, right?
That's
So
it.
that's why you have to kind of get this liquidity in your marketplace, right? So then because being sustainable isn't about stop buying new things, it's about buying things of high quality, right?
Yeah.
That's when it comes to clothing. But same with a book, right? So that's why a book should be produced like kind of high-end material, so it can be reused a lot of times, right? And well, then it costs $40, but it's okay because you're going to sell it for almost the same, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I can pay $5 for a week of entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. And there is something like what you mentioned, students and people do better with interactions. The more they interact with something, the more they relate to it, the more they understand and know it.
That not being this.
Well, that's the point, because in Instagram Live,
That's the phone.
and
For them, it's not on YouTube.
And the Tinder dating and all that stuff, everything becomes like a soundbite or a screen. But when you're holding it and you're turning the page, you're interacting with it, you're using your fantasy with the book. You know, I know that I have many books on my iPad that I never look at because I forget that I have them because there's so many other things there. But when a book is sitting on the shelf or it's on the coffee table, the chances that I go to it, that I take the moment and interact with it, that it takes physical space in my life is so important. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, that's so cool.
Well, it's I just I don't want to talk too much about this phone because then I won't stop. But just a comment on the reading, because I talked about this army being a habit machine, and I really love habits because it makes me do things, and it makes me don't have to think about doing things, right? It's kind of you want to be a habit machine. And my co-founder and I, we are like saying to a lot of our new employees is, if you read books and you work out, right, you can do basically everything, because not if, but when you have a problem or there's something you can't do, you know how to find out of it, because you can just read a book or you can read an article, or right. And if you do these workouts, maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 times a week, you can take care of yourself, right? So it's kind of, for us, we have this kind of system where if it's messy on the desk, or we stop workout, that's the alarm. That's like, okay, what's going on? Oh, you're having the flu. Okay, no problem. But if you're tired, right, it's so easy to see, right, because you're starting getting out of your habits, and that's a bad sign. So we are both habit machines, and are actually doing workout together still, and yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah.
People that are on Spotify and stuff, they don't see this, but they can. I'm gonna add your artist stuff underneath there as well. But you, in your background, you have 2 pandas.
I had what?
You have 2 pandas
Pandas behind you.
behind you.
Yeah, in my
Don't you
background.
see
Yeah.
them? They're kind of big, like large. You made those, right?
Yeah, so I made them to my friend, my co-founder, when he came home from Seattle, saying we had to play again.
Nice.
So they are
That's the
playing
message.
together.
Oh,
And-
okay, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
And what a great message.
It is.
We need to play again. That's nice.
I like
Yeah.
it. Could you, well, just as a thing, how do you play? How do you implement play in your everyday? Because, like you were saying, Marit and I have this thing that if you want to be a high class performer, you have to have a copy paste lifestyle, meaning
It's
that
the same as your habits.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
habits. It's like you have the things that you do every day, but very often when you're doing a lot of stuff and you're copy pasting it, and you're going to go to work, you know you're going to eat, and you know you have to work, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and you know it's going to be like that every day. How do you implement play and playfulness in your everyday?
Wow, I love this question, because the irony here is that if you have habits and you don't use brain power on these stupid things as what to wear and when to go to work, you have much more cognitive capacity to play, right? That's the irony here. So for me, I do my I can just take you through my habits, basically, because they make me a better person, a better husband, better co-founder, leader, in general, a better. I enjoy my life here, my time here on Earth, much more than I would if I didn't. So let's just try to paint a picture of a normal day for me. So to have a good day today, I start tomorrow, and I start by last thing I do is on work. I plan my day tomorrow, and it takes like 5 minutes. Then I put on alarm 1 minute before every meeting, so then I don't even have to check my calendar, because my phone rings, and my employees hate it because it's ringing all the time. But for me, I'm like, I don't have to care about checking my phone. Then I put I like to work out in the morning. I was in the CrossFit this morning. Then everything is ready before I go to bed. And super important, the last thing I look at isn't my phone, it's my wife. That's super important.
That's a lucky wife.
That's a lucky wife.
I'm a lucky man, and that's why I have to take care of my wife.
Yes.
And then I have tested a lot, 7 or 8 hours of sleep, and to be honest, I don't feel any difference between 7 and 8. I thought, based on a lot of reading and research, that 8 was going to be my amount of sleep, but 7 hours, perfect. And that's really nice for me to know, because then I get 7 more hours every week. Then I put my phone outside of the bedroom. We have a rule, no phone or anything in the bedroom. So before, sometimes my wife, before she goes to bed, she's standing there freezing out in the door
Yeah.
before she goes in. but I think that's good because then she spent less time than if she had the phone in the bed.
Yep.
And this is really important. We both do this. We put the alarm on, put the phone into the to the door, kind of into the bedroom. So when the alarm goes off, it's like the whole wall is shaking because the phone is like. What you're gonna do then? Well, you're gonna jump up like you don't even think about it and take the phone, and then you're up. It's like okay, it's like jumping in cold water. Now I'm here. It's like okay, I can stay here for a while. And then both of us do a cold shower. We've done that now for quite. We are like hooked on cold showers. It's like super nice to start the day by. First of all, thinking that 99% of people don't do it. The only thing you do is like take one step. It's like super easy, and you breathe, and you start kind of creating this adrenaline. But also you start day by doing something. Kind of starting the day by eating a frog is a saying, right? Because then everything else is tasting good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then I make my bed. And I've done that since 2006. Even in hotels, it's like autopilot. It's super nice. And then I go to workout, and I don't drink coffee. I drink a lot of water, and I start also with reflections. Right, my daily reflections. That's like almost more important than working out, right? It's for me my daily reflections huge. Like,
is that one of the things you do every day for your mental emotional health?
Yeah. So I have kind of I've done this for 4 years now, and my template now is kind of I have this. I reflect on life is brutal, life is unfair, remember you will die, and you can make life beautiful. That's kind of something I reflect on, because if you start the day by kind of saying that anything can happen today, but it's life, it's like focus more than on that you actually got the chance to be here than all the bad things, right? So that's pretty powerful. And then I ask myself, how do I feel today? Like in the morning, if you can say a lot about where you are in your life based on that question, how do you feel? Like, because success for Arne Morten and me is, are we looking forward to start the day? That's success. Success is not money, it's not house. Are you looking forward to start a day? That's kind of our success, what we're working towards. And then I ask myself, when did I go to sleep? And when did I wake up? How much did I sleep? And I kind of say 5 things I really appreciate in my life. Always starting with my wife. That's kind of actually my Christmas cards the last years. I just copy paste my reflections, and she loves it because it's like small things, but also kind of bigger things, right? So so that's kind of a life hack when I think about it.
Take notes, dude.
Yes.
Yes, do it.
Yes.
Eirik.
And it's like, what am I looking forward to today? What went well yesterday? What didn't go so well? And what is the most important thing when I go to bed I achieved, right? So this is my kind of reflections, and it sounds a lot, but it takes kind of 7 minutes. And I always solve the Rubik's Cube, because that reminds me of, now it goes really fast to solve it. It's like around one minute or something, but
nice.
It was really hard for me to learn it. And the reason I solve this Rubik's Cube every morning is a reminder of things that seems impossible today will be super easy tomorrow. You just have to keep hustling, right?
Keep it. Yes. There's
Yeah.
always a pattern. There's always a system. There's always a way of working if you keep at it, right? That's it. Beautiful.
Exactly. And motivation, a lot of people I talk with is like, I'm not motivated. And I'm like, try to explain what's up. And I try to say to them that motivation isn't something you just, there it is, let's go. Motivation is something you get after you start, right? So you just start, and then it used to work out.
Yeah, when your why is big enough, your how start to work out for you, right? So you get moving and things just open up
and
for
motivation comes like the wind.
Yeah.
It comes and then it's gone again. And just to come. And every time the motivation comes, I go, yes. That it's it feels I'm like, yes, this is why. And then it gives you some rocket fuel, but you can't base it on it. You can't be but really enjoy it when it arrives. It's like summer breeze in your face.
Yeah, but if you look at things you're proud of in your life that you accomplished, for me, 10 out of 10 times, it was hard, it was brutal, right? But I kept going. So that Rubik's Cube is kind of, damn, this is so fast, I can actually multitask. But when I was learning it, I was like, I wanted to quit so many times, but I knew kind of the rule of 50 hours. For every hour you continue, someone is dropping off. At some point, you're in the lead.
That's it. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Oh, that's really fast, really cool.
Well, I if I could make an observation, they talk about Buddha, and Buddha, inspired generations of people by beginning with life is suffering. And it's like, oh man, that's so depressive. And that guy, he needed some like Zoloft, or he needs some kind of antidepressant medication, because how can you say life is suffering? But the whole point is that when you start with, like what you're saying, life's brutal. When you start there and accept that fact, not that you're going to weigh yourself down in terms of, I accept nothing but brutality, I accept nothing but suffering. But when you accept the fact that it's not going to be a highlight, it's not going to be necessarily something that shines in the dark, it's not going to be super easy, you're not going to get all of the recognition that you need and want and think you should have. It's not going to come easy. You're not going to win the lottery 7 times this week, because you look at Instagram, you look at all these things, and you just see people's highlights. You don't see the grind. You don't see the blisters. You don't see the torn off calluses from the hands. You don't see that stuff that created the highlight.
You only see the 1 minute takes to solve the Rubik's Cube. You don't take all those moments you were sitting and wanting to throw that thing into the wall. You don't see that.
Then people don't understand that, because they start out with life must be perfect, otherwise I'm worth less. Instead of realizing that life is completely absurd. It's so much, and then if something goes well, bam, keep going, get the motivation and the happiness from it. So you've been able to solve this energy, this motivation, not only by having this stoic way of looking at things, but you actually ritualize it. You remind yourself by doing something ritualistic every single day with the Rubik's Cube. You ground that information, really remind yourself that if I keep at it, there's a solution. If I keep at it, people who are chasing me are going to fall off. If I keep at it, anything's possible.
I'm going to end up on top.
That's amazing. This is even more than the Lasse you told me about.
Well, the thing, that's why it's so amazing, because he's not one of those guys that I hung out with all the time.
No.
When we actually worked together, we had offices in the opposite end of the hallway. So we never saw each other.
Yeah.
I think it was a locked door between us even. But
yeah,
it
they
was,
locked me in.
they needed him to work. Because I was actually a lot on the other side of the building at his end and talked to a very nice lady because I needed to talk to people. But we were you're one of those people that really put a mark and not you, and that's why I admire you, because you had one sentence and you saw something in me, and because of that I'm here. Like, you have an ability there that I'm really happy I could finally tell you, because we didn't hang out that much.
Exactly.
But I've been admiring you from the distance.
Yeah, there you go.
And I appreciate what you have given me so much. I know you are a very busy man, because he has a new meeting now after us.
Right.
But before we finalize here, I want to ask you if you're going to give some advice, if it's how to live life or something you could do with your mental emotional state, or an advice on how to play more. What's the advice you would like to give our listeners?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think people have to stop judging each other, and like, it's so much judging everywhere, and I think that's super sad. And I know when people are talking to me about someone else, I know they're going to talk about me when I'm gone, right? But so kind of stop judging. But like, the most important, I think, if you start really by separating things into what you can control and what you can't control, I think, wow, that's a huge step, right? Because then you actually have more time to play, because to be creative, it's a lot of research on being creative. You have to give yourself space, both time and physical, right? And mentally. And if you don't fill up your head with a lot of things you can't control, I think that's a huge step. This is like a 3-in-1 now, because
I love 3-in-1.
a lot of
the
people
best.
a lot of people are talking about meaning. What's the meaning of life? And I don't think that's the question, because meaning of life, I think, is to make sure our species are moving forward, but to find meaning, right? Find meaning of life. That's the question. And I think if you start asking these questions, you will find your why. And when you find your why, it's no limits then. It's like, yeah, it's no limits. You can do more than you ever dreamed of. So yeah.
That's a good one. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lasse, for saying yes to this.
Yes.
I'm gonna post and add all this stuff and artists and Bookis and everything in the description here.
Excellent.
For the people that want to listen.
And my friends, read.
Yeah,
is the
read
thing.
and work out.
That's
Read
it.
and work
Read
out.
and work out. That's it.
Yeah.
And remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.